Guys, welcome back to the MMA to the Ike MMA podcast. I'm joined in studio with professional mixed martial arts fighter Mark E- Ewen. I should ask how to pronounce your surname. Is it Ewen or Ewan?
Ewan,
Mark Ewen. Oh,
but
definitely remember that.
it doesn't matter. I don't mind. People say Ewan, people say Ewan, Ewan, whatever. It doesn't bother me.
Look, how are things? And I will definitely ask. How you preparing? How you feeling? For the bout that's coming up on the 8th of June against Claudio Pacella at PFL Europe.
I'm feeling good, mate. Feeling great. I've just finished training up for the night. I was at S&C the night. But in regard to, in regard to preparation, I'm feeling good, mate. I'm preparing like I do for every fight. Like it's my biggest fight. Like it's my biggest test to date. I'm training hard with the team, pushing myself, try to push the boundaries, push my body to its limits, push my mind. Just make sure that I'm a better version of myself when I get in there, and that's what I try and do every time I go in the cage. Is always try and push and strive to be a better version of myself, so I can go on and put a good performance on.
Mm. No, no, definitely, because I always do wonder. I mean, I'm not a fighter. I've never competed, though I may have trained with some fighters in the gym, but I do wonder what it's like to be in your shoes. You got that sort of competition coming up, and just it's on the stage in front of a lot of people, and of course you want to go in there and give it your all, and each person is almost fighting to the kill or for the kill.
Yeah, I love it. Like I love performing. I would rather fight on the big stage, the sold out arenas,
Yes, yeah.
than like an empty arena. Do you know what I mean? I'm
Mm.
not scared of the vast amount of people that are there. Like I thrive off of that. I thrive off of the atmosphere. I thrive off of the pressure. Yeah, I believe pressure's a privilege. I would much rather, like I said, fight in a sold out arena than an empty one. Like I started off in town halls, and now I'm in these big arenas. So it's just natural progression, and it's exactly what I've always wanted and envisioned for myself.
Mm. Your opponent, what do you make of him? I mean, I've spoken to him before, and I've looked at your even your fight record, which I want to ask you about in just in a moment. But a lot of your opponents, they've been very tough guys. But this guy in particular, Claudio, what do you make of him? His fight game? Do you feel there's anything you need to do, like yourself, go back to the drawing board and change things? Have you analyzed his own past fights?
Yeah, I've seen his last fight. I was in Paris, uh, March 7th. There, I was supposed to be fighting Andreas, but he missed weight. So I was there at this show. So I've seen his last fight with Patrick Habiora, and it was a good fight, good back and forth fight. It was close. He was hungry. He was swinging for the fences. Patrick kind of tried to stay long and kind of pick him apart, but it didn't really work. It was a back and forth fight. It was decent, but nothing I've not seen before. Yeah, I mean, I've fought better guys. I've seen better guys. This this by no means does not mean that I'm underestimating him. Do you know what I mean? I'm preparing for. I'm preparing for like I was preparing for a world champion. Like I'm going in there with like I'm going in there to kind of put on a spectacle performance. So I'm pushing myself in every area, every facet. But the opponent is redundant. It doesn't matter to me. It never really has mattered to me, my opponents. I never really focus on them. I never really will. I focus on myself, focus on my skills, what I can do. But in regard to the opponent, he's all right. He's decent. I'd say he's kind of like he's an all right fighter. There's nothing great about him. There's nothing I'm really worrying about. I'm just focusing on myself, make sure I'm in the best possible shape when I go in there.
Good, good, good. Um, What's the fight camp been like? I mean, one of the toughest parts that I think you, of course, be by now be more than familiar with is that a lot of fighters say that the toughest part of the fight camp is making weight, especially if maybe you're quite far off from the required weight to compete in the fights.
Yeah, diet is definitely the hardest bit. I think everyone says that, but I work with a nutritionist, condition nutrition. So the meals I'm eating, you wouldn't really think I'm dieting. I'm eating good. I'm eating like a king all week, all the way up to fight week, and then even fight week, I'm eating good. Like I'm always fueled for my sessions. I'm fueled. I'm ready to go. I'm in tremendous shape, all because of him. I just follow the plan and I make weight easily because I'm on the ball. But obviously, no one really wants to diet. I think fighters all have like eating disorders. As much rather eat as much as they want, but I really do enjoy fight camp. I like how present it makes me, how focused I get, how you have this singleness of purpose where you know exactly what you want out it, and the diet and just part of the game. It's just another stone that you need to unturn. So it's part of it.
I well, I mentioned that I was going to ask about your record, and it's really, really impressive. 5-0 as a professional, but even your amateur record, that's equally incredibly impressive. Um, you know, what do you kind of owe that kind of success to? Because I've listened to some of your interviews before on other shows, and the most recent one that I was listening to, the is it the Real Wealth
The Great
podcast or
Wealth
so?
podcast, yeah.
Yes. And again, that was going to lead me on to ask about your backstory, but before I get there, your success that you achieved so far in the sport, altogether, amateur and professional. I mean, what do you put it down to? Is it just hard work, or just that you want this, it's in your blood, you want this more than anything else? The money doesn't matter to you, even the titles and belts, but you want that success because you love this craft, you love this skill set that you have, and you want to show that you can be, showcase your talent, that you can be the best of all the athletes in this sport.
Basically, just answered it there. That's exactly it. Like I love what I do, and I want to perform against the best guys and beat the best guys and just showcase my skills and continue to work on my craft. But the attribute that I kind of define my success by is probably my mindset. My mindset is just so strong. Like my mindset is bulletproof. I constantly work my mind. I'll always work my mind, my psychology, my brain, and my fight IQ. Like a lot of fighters are just fighters. They're just going to go in there and fight. Whereas I'm smart. Do you know what I mean? I'm never going to go in there and fight. I'm going to go in there, pick somebody apart, and take them out of the game quick and fight strategically and fight cerebral and fight smart, clean, calculated. I'm using my brain when I'm in there. I'm not just going in there and swinging for the fences, hoping for the best. I'm really, really smart. So I would definitely define my success with the fact that my mindset is so strong and I'm constantly working my mind.
What about your gym? And I think it's well, regarded as one of the toppest, best mixed martial arts and gyms in Scotland. Can you talk a bit about that? I think they're called the High Level MMA.
They are the best in Scotland. There's no like ifs, buts, maybes, or even debates about that. That we are the best gym in Scotland, the best gym in the world, in my opinion. Definitely the best in the UK, one of the best in Europe and the world. We have got loads of great guys, literally on all the biggest shows. So we've got like Big Paul in the UFC, we've had Stevie in the UFC, Danny in the UFC, we've had countless guys, and we've got guys on PFL, we've got guys in Cage Warriors, countless guys in Cage Warriors. Fought on, we've fought on some of the biggest promotions all over the world, the Bellator, stuff like that, and it's all down to the kind of the head coach, James Doolan. He used to fight as well, fought on Cage Warriors and stuff. Great coach, great person. Avid learner, student of the game, always working on his craft, always pushing his students to go on. And James has got a thing where like each generation has to outdo the generation before them. So I'm in a generation that's kind of at the present moment. So I need to try and push past the guys that came before me, and there's guys that are coming after me who have to push past me. So it's like evolution in a way. He's always kind of pushing for excellence and always pushing his guys to the limit.
Any names we should be, because if they could produce, or at least if someone like as successful as you is attached to a brand like that, I mean, there must be other guys in there as well who, because you must have a good team around you, good coaches.
Oh,
It's any other names that we should be watching for in the fight scene here in the UK, and you're coming from that
literally
team.
everyone in my fight team. Like so, me, Dylan Took, Sean Clancy, Lorenzo Parenti, Kunle Lawal, Kia Harvey. These are all like pro fighters. But we've even got like amateur fighters that are really starting up in the amateur scene, like Aaron Oliphant, we've got Stephen Clancy, Yusuf Whitelaw. Got some serious good guys at the moment.
I wanted to ask a bit about your backstory, your history, how you came into combat sports. But again, as I said earlier, after listening to some of your interviews, I think your own case, your own story, there's a lot more that happened there. I've in the last interview that you had with the Real Wealth podcast, I think you did highlight on some areas that you kind of almost discouraged into going to this particular sport. So is that people kind of saying this probably isn't for you, you should try a hand at something else.
No, no. So what happened was that the way I joined martial arts was kind of just a wee bit. It's kind of simple and generic. Like a friend of mine said he was training. At the point, I was looking for what I wanted to do in my life. I didn't know what I was doing. I felt a bit lost. I was trying to find myself. He said he was training martial arts. I said, "Can I come with you?" I went along. I was still young at the time, fell in love with it, and just trained throughout. But when I was talking about people telling me not to do it, it's mostly my family. Because as soon as I started it, I was like, "This is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life." Whereas my family, people around me were like, "Well, you're not making money for it, so you can't do it for this." You're like, "Do you know what I mean? You need to make money." I don't come from money. I never really had money growing up, so money was always a stress. Finance was always a stress. So my mum was always trying to get me to get a job so I could obviously get by. Whereas I was like, "Nah, fuck a job. I just want to train full time. I want to be a world champion. Just trust me, look after me, support me, and it'll be all right. I'll pay you back." uh, and that was really the base of it. Like there was a lot of arguments about it, a lot of fights about it in my household between me and my brothers. My brothers were all working, bringing money in, whereas I maybe worked like two jobs, two, three jobs. I worked now and then, but majority of the time I wasn't working. I was training full time, and I got and I done PTs and that, but I just refused to work. I was like, nah, I can't let it take away from my dream and my focus to be a world champion. I just love training all the time, and that's all I wanted to do. It's all I would think about. And I feel like if I was doing another job, then it would start to make me unhappy and miserable because all I'd do was think about is being at the gym and chasing my dreams of being a world champion. I remember when I was like working in shops, I would be embarrassed if someone knew me and they came in. I'd be like, fuck, they've seen me in here. Do you know what I mean? I'm in, I'm in here working. Like,
Mm,
there's nothing
mm,
wrong with it, but at the
mm.
time I felt embarrassed because I shouldn't be working in a shop. I'd seen myself as a world champion. A world champion is known in this shop making pizzas, you know what I mean, in the back, or he's known in this shop folding up clothes and picking up shit off the floor, do you know what I mean? So when people came in and they knew me, I was like, fuck, I would hide and that. No, I wouldn't hide, but I was like, fuck's sake, like they've seen me, this is embarrassing.
You
And it
felt
just kind of,
so you felt as if you're wasting your life and wasting your talent there, just wasting your
yeah,
time. I know exactly
exactly
how that
that.
feels, yeah.
And if anything, it gave me motivation. I was like, I need to get rid of this shitty ass job. I need to be a world champion. I need to do it quick. So when they see me, they know it's just a means to an end. They know it really am a world champion.
Mm. Um, so it's like when you picked up the mitts or when you went to the gym or you did say your first session of pads or jiu-jitsu for the first time, you felt this is something that I love, that you felt almost at home. As in based on what you told me, it's like when you're in the gym training, that's where you feel at home the most, where you feel yourself the most. Like that's your niche.
Yeah, that is my thing. That is my love, my passion, my purpose. My first session, I can't even remember. I must have been in such a flow state. I just remember leaving in such a state of like euphoria and all. I was like, wow, like what the fuck has this been my full life? Like this is me. This is exactly what I need. This is exactly what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. Just get going every week.
And your family there, I'm sure by now the success that you've achieved, you're now fighting really big promotions on stacks cards, it's now seen by eyes all around the world. Then I think most of them are now, and of course, they must be now eating their words, of course.
Yeah, everyone is, man. It's funny, everyone that was like, ah, you need to get a job. And they, like, my brothers would have tear ups and that all the time in the house because I wasn't working. And now
Mm.
they're my biggest supporters. Do you know what I mean? I love my
Yeah.
bros and that, but like, they say things like, ah, I've supported them since the start. I was like, no, you fucking never, mate. No, you never. Well, only my mum
Ah,
did. See,
yeah.
if I'm honest with you, my mum supported me for the get go, even when she didn't want to. Do you know what I mean? She didn't really. She wanted me to go to the gym. She wanted me to train. She loved that, but I don't think she really seen that as a career for me. She's not seen anybody make a career out of it, so she didn't expect me to go on and make loads of money. But she supported me in what I was going to do, even if it started arguments or even if we struggled now and then. She always supported me. She's always been a very supportive mother, and I appreciate her so much. And like, she's one of the reasons I actually do this. Probably one of my biggest whys, like the biggest drive I have inside me, is just because I promised my mum so much. Like I promised her like so much since a young boy. I mind we would have arguments, and I'd be like, not even arguments, but I would just say to her, "Listen, mum, when I make it, when I start making money, I'm gonna get you this. I'm gonna buy you a mansion. I'm gonna." get your house in Malibu, anything you want, you tell me and I'll get it to you
Yeah.
because you supported me when no one else would. So I'm due you. And also, I love her to bits. Yeah, I mean, my mum. So I think it's every boy's dream to look after their mum and support them in any way that they can. So she's definitely one of my biggest drives.
You know, one of the things I do love about what combat sports, but martial arts, mixed martial arts in particular, is that yes, it is quite an extreme sport, but it's the sort of sport that really you're really seriously, physically and mentally tested there. Um, uh, Fine, it's not perfect how it's run, but what I do like about it is that unlike the other sports, say football and rugby and probably baseball and so on, the glamorous elements of getting paid loads of money for, let me say, not doing something that's physically brutal on the body and even on the mentally on the body, that element isn't so much there. So it's either you're all in or you're just, this isn't for you, that kind of thing.
Yeah, you have to be in this sport. If I turn up and try and half-arse it, I'm going to get myself hurt. I'm going to get myself seriously hurt or injured. Yeah, I mean, you need to turn up with like fully focused, 100% and the serious intention, and they want to get better. Like obviously, you can bear in mind if you want to just train martial arts, you can just train martial arts like recreationally. Do you know what I mean? You don't have to be if you're a fighter and you're fighting somebody else. You best turn up. You best make sure you're 100%. Say he's going to come in 100%. Obviously, it's kill or be killed in this game. But I truly believe in just like giving it your all. Like, or why else would you do it? Like, but
Mhm.
I didn't have this mindset before. These are the things that I've cultivated through martial arts. Like I think I first started, I just loved it. It was a passion and curiosity. But the values, the principles, the every trait that I've learned through martial arts, I believe I could go on in any other discipline or any other occupation, any job you name it, and be extremely successful, the best, because of the mindset that martial arts has cultivated in me.
I'm not sure if I should bring this topic into our conversation here, but for the past two, three, four, maybe since say 2019 or 2020, you've seen how some viewers and listeners may hate me for bringing this up, but I'll ask you anyway, and I'll ask you anyway because for me, you're quite a unique guest. You're quite a unique fighter. Um, what's your opinion on all these YouTubers and influencers coming into combat sports, particularly boxing, because that's where it seems to have started for the time being? It'll be interesting to see if any of them, like say the Paul brothers, would venture into mixed martial arts where it isn't, like I said before, brutal.
At first, I hated it. I wasn't a fan. These guys were coming in. They were making a lot of money. They were doing big events and stuff like that. They were using the boxing and they were kind of subpar. They were shit to watch and stuff, and they were making loads of money and giving it a bad rep. But now I'm starting to not appreciate it, but I like certain fighters. Like I don't mind Jake Paul because I've seen what he does behind the curtain. I've seen what he does in his camp. He's pushing himself, pushing his mind, and that I can get behind. That I can respect. And he's taken some of these fights have been a bit fucking stupid, but the fact that he's bringing more eyes to the sport, I respect. Fair play to him. Just the fact that in his camp he leaves no stone unturned. He pushes himself. He has a solid team around him. That I get behind. That I admire. But bear in mind, these guys are only venturing into boxing, and I don't think they have the balls to venture into MMA because it's a different kettle of fish.
Yeah, mixed martial arts, of course. Again, it's very brutal. And I think a lot of the fights, a lot of these YouTubers have taken on in boxing have either been exhibition fights or be up against someone who isn't really a professional boxer.
Yeah, you're spot on. It's different when you come into MMA because there's just so much to learn. These people have been dedicating their life to learn this craft, and they're still nowhere near where they want to be. Do you know what I mean? Everyone's always trying to work and get better. And these, I don't think any boxer can come into MMA and just think they're going to do well. It doesn't work like that.
What really gets me is that I mean, you don't feel that someone like the Paul brothers or any influencer or YouTuber probably is almost like cheating their way to the top. They might bring a lot of eyes into the sport, but they haven't really worked their way up to that kind of level of recognition like someone like, say, you.
I would say that they're warranted their recognition and their clout and stuff because they've done well to build their brand and their persona on social media or YouTube, whatever it is. They've done that. They've put the yards in for that, and that's where they get their respect and clout from. But you don't see anyone fighting for world titles or that. You know what I mean? There might be boxing, but they're hosting their own events. Do you know what I mean? Or they're fighting on shows, but and they're maybe main eventing it or whatever. But they're giving other boxers a chance on the undercard. But you don't see any of them fighting like ranked fighters. Do you know what I mean? None of them are fighting ranked boxers or world champions and that. So they'll never really get there. And I think they know that. They're just trying to make as much money as they can and have a little fight. But I wouldn't go as far to say it's fake and it's not quite real because obviously they are fighting, but it's not the real deal. Do you know what I mean? You're not
Absolutely.
mixing
Yeah.
up with the best in the world, so you're not quite really there.
Mm. Look, for a fighter like you who has done so well um since day one, what advice would you give to any newer, younger fighters coming on the scene?
White belt mentality at all times. Humility is key. Turn up every day like a white belt, eager to learn, curious, uh, willing to learn from everybody and anybody, even if it's what not to do. That's the biggest thing. Just turn up and be willing to learn and just always try and pick someone's brain or they're better than you or not, or just always try to learn. And then another one is just consistency and perseverance. Keep turning up because it's not going to be easy. That if success was easy, everybody would be successful, but they're not. So I'd say that one, the white belt mentality and humility type of mindset, and also just the soldier mindset where you turn up every single day, discipline, march, 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 keep marching on. It's going to be hard, but the days you're going to feel like you can't be arsed, but fuck it, you're going to go up and get it done because you got to be a world champion, doesn't it? The world title's not giving a fuck if you want a day off or not. Do you know what I mean? It's
Mm.
sitting there waiting to be taken, so you need to go get it.
Look, I was gonna ask you, but you fought some really big cards and really big promotions, but still, nonetheless, what future plans do you have? As in, would you still like to fight in the UFC, maybe one championship?
One championship would be pretty cool to go over to Asia and fight over there. Never really. It doesn't super like it doesn't super appeal to me. It's not massively appeal to me. Sorry, but it would be cool. I don't really think that's where my story's gonna unfold. Though I feel like it'll be the PFL for a bit or the UFC. My obviously my main aim is since I kid is to be the UFC world champion. So I would like the UFC world title, but I'm in PFL at the moment, so I'm gonna keep beating all these guys, claiming the ranks, and get some money while I'm at it, and maybe become a world champion in PFL. I'm going to be a mega star, mate. I'm going to be a superstar in mixed martial arts, regardless. That is my aim. I want to be one of the biggest stars in MMA. Most exciting, exhilarating fights. You know what I mean? Put on serious spectacles every time I fight. People want to come and watch me. That's really my aim, is to be one of the greatest to ever do it, be a superstar, and just cement my name, in mixed martial arts, and be a world champion.
In a promoter or what the UFC, if you were to go and compete there, again, you are someone who you're the real deal. As in, for as far as I can see, at least having this conversation with you now. Um, would you like to partake in the trash talking?
It's
Yeah.
funny that people have asked me that before. Listen, I'm from Scotland, right? So we the banter, we call it patter, is just different over here. If somebody was to try and get wide with me or try and trash talk me, I would tear them to shreds. But no one has tried yet. So I'm not the type to go and I'm not the type to just start ripping somebody to shreds for no reason. Do you know what I mean? I'm not the type of guy, but if you were to come at me, you best believe I would tear you to shreds because the patter here is just different. Scottish patter, it's hilarious. We're the funniest people on every social media platform. Do you know what I mean? We're just funny people and we're also great fighters. So if anyone was to try and have any sort of trash talk with me, so I go to press conferences and that in the UFC or PFL, whatever, and someone gets wide, you best believe they'll be getting torn up.
Now, one thing I can say is that Scotland, I mean, other parts of the UK outside of England, Scotland being one of them. you guys, I mean, over there, people don't take nonsense at all. I mean, like over here, it seems like at least here in London, you can just laugh something off, but outside, like in Scotland, you can't really do that because the problem, the person will tend to follow you and see you somewhere else, and they're gonna have it out with you. That kind
Not
of
even
thing.
that. Sometimes it's the part here. Like we grew up just ripping our best friends to bits. Like
Uh,
that's how you show appreciation and how you show like love and friendship by just slating your best pals. Yeah, I mean that's how it is. Like I mean, growing up with my friends and we would just slate each other non-stop. That's what everyone
mm,
does. You just slate each other. So you're very, very thick skinned and your partner's usually decent. If you've got shite partner then you're in the wrong country for that, man. And if you're very, very sensitive, then you're in the wrong country as well because you're gonna get fucking heavily bullied.
mm. Okay. Last but not least, any shout outs you'd like to give?
All my sponsors, get on my Instagram, Mark Ewen underscore, and just have a look at my sponsors, man. Without them, wouldn't be able to kind of really pursue this. So I'm really appreciative and grateful for all of them guys that support me and my team, higher level. The boys up there, head coach James, the squad.
Uh, okay. Um, Mark, thank you for coming on the show. And so definitely, I look forward to 8th of June when you're stepping into the Octagon there with Claudio Pacella. And guys, if you did enjoy the episode, if you listened to the end, don't forget to hit the like button and the subscribe button. And if you cannot, you can also catch the audio versions of the podcast on all the major platforms, including Spotify, iTunes, and Google. Mark, thank you for coming on the show. Thank you.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah.